Christmas, everybody! Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show. My name is Eric Peterson. I am talking with Danny Jordan, my good buddy. We got Chris Sisley also on the podcast today. We got our good buddy Emilio helping out. We are here, folks. This is the Christmas Countdown Show. It is episode number 217. Episode 17 of season 2. This is going to be coming out on December 17th. No, not December 17th. December 12th. December 12th. I was looking at the wrong date, which means it's only 13 days until Christmas, Danny.
Oh, my
13
gosh.
days. Lucky 13. There's a lot to do in 13 days. How are you feeling?
So
Are you
much.
ready? Are you excited? Are you getting nervous? Are you? What's your feeling on where we're at in the season?
On the 13th day of Christmas, my psychiatrist gave to me some new anti-anxiety medication. No,
That's pretty good.
yeah, thank you. I just made that up on the spot. Write what you know. They say, Eric, write what you know. No, I'm feeling great. You had me stressed out there for a second when you said December 17th because I was like, oh my gosh, I just lost days. Now I'm in single digits.
Almost a
Also,
whole
it's
week.
my sister's birthday, and I better give her a call. So you had me like super stressed out there for a moment. But,
Wait, your sister's birthday is on the 17th?
December 17th. Yeah,
Oof,
one of my sisters.
That is a tricky date because it is
Why?
not quite close enough to Christmas to get the listen, we're just going to give you one present. But it's like kind of too close to Christmas. What is the policy in your family? Does she get a full birthday and a full Christmas, or does she get lumped together into one?
Well, so here's the thing. One of my sisters is the 17th. The other one's the 19th. So we've got a twofer situation going on. But, they were from, my parents got divorced when I was really young. So they're from, secondary marriages. So it's not in the same house. But I feel like they always got some sort of celebration when we were kids. Now that you're asking me this question, I'm trying to remember what we did for my sister's birthdays when we were growing up. Maybe they didn't get a party.
Maybe if you can't remember, maybe that means that it was sort of folded into Christmas.
Oh my gosh. I feel like a horrible brother in this moment. I'm trying to remember one of the birthday parties. I know Nicole. Nicole definitely had parties for sure. Erin, I don't know why I'm feeling like she had some ice skating birthday maybe at one point because she was super into taking ice skating lessons here in town because we have an ice skating rink here in our town. I feel like that happened, which feels very appropriate. If you have a December birthday to go ice skating for your birthday, feels like something you should do. And if Erin, I know you listen to the show, if we did not go ice skating for your birthday, I am really sorry that I am remembering your birthday parties incorrectly, but happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to your sister. It's funny. My son Miles, who was on the podcast this season, his birthday is January 22nd. So his is actually kind of a great birthday date because he asks for whatever he wants for Christmas, and he gets whatever he ends up getting. You get what you get, and you'll like it. And but whatever he doesn't get at Christmas, we're able to sort of be like, well, okay, I guess we didn't realize how much he wanted that, Hot Wheels racetrack. And so then birthday, boom, we just get it right then.
That's so smart. Speaking of Hot Wheels racetrack, I got to tip my cap to you. I was at your holiday party a couple, weekends ago, and I noticed in your kids' little play area, you have a basket that is just overflowing with Hot Wheels track.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very impressed. And it took everything in me not to start pulling it out and building a track right through the middle of your party.
I do know that you love to build the tracks. So thank you for not doing it. It was pretty crowded. It would have been tricky, but yeah, we do have a lot of tracks. This is an issue we should talk about. So Miles is now 7. He'll be 8 in January. He's getting to the age now where we're like, hey, bud, for Christmas, you're going to get some new stuff. I think we need to say goodbye to some of the toys that you've gotten in Christmases past, and some of the big toys. It's easy to throw away a little, figurine that they haven't played with in, a year or something. You're like, they don't play with this. So you just put it in Goodwill box or whatever. But he's got this train thing, like a Thomas the Train kind of big, 3 foot tall sort of train set. But he never plays with it anymore. It's completely just sitting there taking up space. And we had to have that conversation. We were like, bud, you haven't really played with that in probably almost 2 years now. Do you think maybe we should bring that to Goodwill, and then maybe some family that is, having a little more struggles to get through Christmas can get this, and some little kid who's maybe 5 or 6, like when you got this, will enjoy this. But I could see he said okay, but I could see it was really hard for him. Do you remember that ever happening to you as a kid, of your parents saying like, we need to get rid of toys, or did they just like thin the herd and not let you know?
I was the oldest, so I feel like when you're the oldest, I still am. They haven't aged past me at this point in time, thankfully. No, I think as the oldest, your toys a lot of times don't leave the house. They end up going to your sibling who's, coming up behind you. I mean, I'm seeing that happen in real time with my girls at home, where a lot of the stuff that Emerson had and played with when she was 1-2 years old, now Riley's just playing with those toys, which has got to be pretty cool for Emmy, because she hasn't really had to have that real big separation yet from some of her like most cherished things. So like thinking back to my childhood, I feel like I don't remember a lot of toys going away, because I feel like my brother, who's 5 years younger than me, by the time I was aging out of things, I think they just like sort of became his toys, though. Right. Even as I'm saying that, I probably was like, you can play with it, but just know that it's not really yours. Like
it's really
that's
mine.
Probably, yeah. And I'm just letting you use it, but whenever I need it, you got to give it back to me. And that's probably something I would have said, because I, as a brother, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Eric, but when we were kids, we used to go to Chuck E. Cheese all the time. It's where a kid can be a kid. Sure. And I used to like collect tickets, right? Like I was like, I don't want like a bouncy ball. I don't want like a little like rocket car.
So you would save tickets over multiple trips.
Oh yeah. I was one of those people. I was like, that's Sega. That's going to be mine.
Investing early. I love that.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. It probably was the worst investment of all time, because of how much money I dropped of my parents just to get like a baseball. But as kids, like I saved up all these tickets, and then my brother, I struck this deal with him, because I realized I was getting a little bit older, and I was like, do I really want like some toy from Chuck E. Cheese? Not really. But my brother's 5 years younger, and he really wants toys from Chuck E. Cheese. So I had like, you remember it got to the point where they would start eating your tickets, and they would print a receipt where it's like, you have 470 tickets. So I had these Vegas. Receipts. Exactly. Just like that, but for children. And so I said to my brother one day, I was like, hey, I got a deal for you. I will trade you all of my Chuck E. Cheese tickets if you become my armrest for the rest of my life. And so I gave him, and he was like, okay, that's a great deal. And so I gave him all my receipts, and I kid you not, like up until I was probably like 19, 20 years old, I would just put my arm like right on his shoulder. And he goes, really? We're still doing this? I said, it was a lifetime deal, man. Did you spend those tickets? You did. I don't have those prizes. So yeah,
oh, that's good.
Anyway, so that's I bring that up just to say, I probably, was telling my brother that those toys that I had as a kid that became his were probably truly mine.
Sure. That's what you got to do as a big brother.
Totally. And the good news is, because my parents don't like to get rid of anything, all those toys are still at their house. So maybe that's why I don't have that separation issue, is I know I could go to the garage and pull down a box, and all my Ninja Turtles are still going to be there. So
right. Love that.
Yeah. So thanks, Mom and Dad. Anyway, so where do we go from here? Speaking of our children, yesterday I got to go to my daughter Emerson's first ever holiday recital. Eric.
Right. Yeah. I knew that was coming up.
Oh my gosh.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was emotional. I was an emotional wreck, but in all the good ways. Like it was good tears. It's like those tears and emotions that like choke your neck, and you just like your heart feels like it's like beating out of your chest, and your eyes, like you have this like pressure behind your eyes that's just like, if I let it all go, I'm going to cry all over everybody right now. But it was, and I knew that was going to happen. Like at her rehearsals, when they were like playing, Somewhere in My Memory, which is what they danced to from Home Alone. Yeah. Just watching her learn the choreography, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a mess. but it was so cool to see her up there with her classmates and just finding something that she really loves and getting out there on a stage and, coming in. These are the moments where your kids really start to come into their own and like they gain this confidence in themselves to stand up in front of, a few hundred people they don't know and dance. It was super special and something I'm going to hold on to forever.
I love that. Love that. Miles, actually, he has his school sort of Christmas production thing is coming up, and one of the songs they're singing is Hark the Herald Angels. And so we've been to a couple like Christmassy party things over the season, and he's always like, are they going to play Hark the Herald? Because I know that one. And he really wants to belt that one out. It's so great too, seeing especially Miles sort of come into his own as a performer, because obviously I'm an actor. Lisa, my wife, was an actress. Sophie, my daughter, is clearly sort of heading down that path. But we didn't want to ever make Miles feel like you have to follow in the family business. If he wants to, great. But I didn't want to ever have any pressure on that. And he has, may I just say for the record, such a beautiful, lovely singing voice. I think that he is going to really do great things with his singing, because he's got a great instrument in there, and it's really cute to see him singing.
Aww.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn king. It's very great, very great.
Oh, Eric, you singing this is making me think of something I needed to talk about on this show.
Yes? What's that?
So one of my best friends, Mikey, who I told you about recently, that gave us the crank that turns on the Christmas lights.
Yes, yeah.
So he sings in a gospel choir out here in Pasadena called Selah Gospel Choir. And I went to their show last weekend, and let me tell you, I don't remember the last time that I was in a space where the electricity of the performers and the people in the audience was that electric. Lynn texted me. She goes, "How's it going?" I was at intermission. I go, "I honestly think this building might explode." It was just, there were people, because with gospel music and this choir specifically, they really encourage participation from people who are in the audience. So there were people who were on their feet clapping along, and it was like that from beginning to end. I looked up in the balcony at one point, and there were people dancing in the aisles, and their hands were up, and it was one of the most electric experiences I've ever been a part of. And because it was the first time since 2019 that they were able to have their holiday concert. So this has been building up for a while.
Pent up energy, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was absolutely incredible. It was a night I will never forget. The spirit was definitely all up in Pasadena Covenant Church the other night. And I'm so grateful to have had that experience. And it was good because, I think with our show, I've realized for myself, I was thinking about this the other day, is that, I'm thinking about the lights and all these things that are sort of quintessential Christmas that we talk about on the show. And, maybe I'd been, I don't know, not paying enough attention to the spirit of the season, as it were. And specifically, the reason for the season. And it really, I think, awoke a part of my heart that maybe I hadn't been paying as much attention to lately. And it was very powerful and moving, and, grateful to have had that experience, especially leading up to the Christmas season. So I feel like I have a new excitement going into Christmas 2022.
I love that. I've never been to a gospel performance in person. I love listening to gospel music. I love watching videos of gospel music on social media, but I've never actually been. Maybe next year I can come with you, because that sounds like a ton of fun.
Oh, dude, there's 60 people in the choir. And they're so supportive. One of the coolest things they did was whenever it would go to the next song, the soloist would be working their way down through the choir, and everyone would be turning around, clapping for them. They're like, "You got this, you got this." Yeah. And they would get down there, and as they started singing, everyone would be throwing their hands up at them, and they'd be like, "Yes." And I was just it was this feeling of community, and everyone was so supportive of each other. It was a very, very special experience. So anyways, if you're in the SoCal area and you can check out Selah Gospel Choir, trust me, you will not be disappointed.
I love that.
In any way. And speaking of disappointment, Eric,
yes,
we got our first negative review ever.
What?
On Apple. Yeah, it happened.
No.
It finally happened. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
50
Tell
episodes.
me more. Tell me more.
Well, I'm gonna tease it a little bit because this is a good time for us to get into like our listener review section. So I text you a couple reviews.
Yes.
But the last one that we're gonna read in this segment is our first ever non-favorable review. So if you're new to the show and you're like, what are these guys doing? Well, we like to share the reviews. And we have said, Eric, you and I have said for like 50 episodes now, hey, if you don't like it, let us know.
Let us know.
We'll read it on the show.
Absolutely.
And today we're going to do that for the first time. But before we get to that one, we're going to share some of the positive reviews we've received. Good. So let's get to it.
Sure. I'm going to go with the first one here. This is from Jamie Williams. And jumping to the end, I'm seeing that Jamie is coming to us from New Zealand. So I'm going to do my best New Zealand accent, which probably will sound a little bit like an Australian accent, because I'm not good enough to differentiate, but I'm going to do my best. So here we go. And she says, hey, Eric and Danny, I just had the message and let you guys know how much joy you have brought to my life with your podcast. I listen to it while I'm working in the office, and no matter what kind of day I'm having, now it's becoming Cockney. This is I always walk out of work with a spring in my step. I myself lost my Christmas cheer the last few years with the pandemic going on. Now it's back and better than ever. Thank you so much for helping me regain it. I put up all my decorations this year again and feel so much holiday joy. Merry Christmas from Jamie in New Zealand. Jamie, thank you so much. I hope I didn't completely desecrate your accent, and if I did, my apologies. But you know what? This is great. I'm glad, as we say all the time, we get a lot of reviews of people saying, the last few years have been hard either because of the pandemic or the loss of a family member or financial struggles or health issues. And if we can bring any kind of joy back to the season for you, then we will consider ourselves happy and like mission accomplished. So Merry Christmas, and thank you for that great review, Jamie. Thank you so much.
I'm glad that there was an opportunity for you to do an accent that was a little challenging for you, because it's making me feel a little bit better about every time I've butchered an accent on this show.
New Zealand's not my best one. It's still workshopping.
I love that. Speaking of butchering accents, we have a review here that might be the most epic review we've received. Like, I know some people have been like, you want your bells jingled, listen to this. Like, there's been some money lines that we have received, but this review, it is easily the longest review we've ever received. So this is a good time to get yourself, a Hallmark Channel, Republic of Tea, cinnamon cardamom tea, and just cuddle up right now, because I'm about to read you something.
Here we go.
Yeah. So again, I can't see what the entire title says, but it says, "Oh my gosh, I love this Poe." So I'm going to guess.
Can I just say, I love the fact that we don't know what the full titles are. I hope we never figure out how to read the full titles, because that is one of my favorite parts of this entire podcast.
You know what's funny is Chris has text us multiple times. He's like, if you go to this website, you can actually see the full title. And you and I are like, no,
don't do it. Don't do it.
We don't want to go there. But yeah, it says, "Oh my gosh, I love this Poe." I'm going to guess that's podcast. Hopefully,
good guess.
And this is coming from Maddie and Liam's mom. Here we go. "I am absolutely enchanted and inspired by this podcast and its lovely hosts, Danny and Eric. In the spirit, dare I say Christmas spirit, of the show, here are my top 5 reasons to listen to the Christmas Countdown podcast."
I love it. A little countdown.
Right? Number 5, the onion milk debates. It doesn't really matter which pronunciation is correct. It is endlessly entertaining to listen to Danny and Eric justify their pronunciations. So good. Good. Number 4, Eric and Danny's fantastically fun, marvelously merry, jingly-jangly alliterations, along with their overuse of phrases such as, "oh my gosh," and "as it were," and "I love blank so much," and more. I also laugh at their kooky impressions of nerds, robots, Christopher Walken, and their attempts at Irish and Icelandic accents, among others. I adore Eric's expert impressions and Danny's willingness to try.
That's good.
Keep it coming, guys. It only makes the podcast that much more laugh out loud, silly, endearing, and fun. Number 3, Eric and Danny's love of the off-the-beaten-track Christmas tunes, namely It's a Cow Christmas, but also Streisand's Jingle Bells.
Jingle Bells?
Various boy band Christmas tunes. I was honestly never a fan, but I am now. All right, yes. Nailed that one. The myriad Christmas Rat Pack Christmas songs, the best and worst renditions of holiday songs on the web, and many, many other gems. I can't wait to host a holiday party and play Danny and Eric's Spotify playlists as background music. So good. Number 2. The podcast's Hallmark Channel Fantasy Holiday Movie Challenge, along with Danny and Eric's descriptions of each show, their interviews with the stars of the movies, and their descriptions of the weekend's lineup of holiday movies. Although I am a listener since the first season, I missed the episode that kicked this contest off, and I wish I was in on the fun. For now, I will happily listen and am hopeful that next year I can join in. Number 1, here we go. The podcast hosts themselves. Eric and Danny, oh God, I'm going to get choked up. Eric and Danny are the most menschy guys on the planet. Their close friendship brings so much to the podcast. The strength of their bond is palpable and completely heartwarming. Their countdown lists brilliantly encapsulate all the things they love about the Christmas season. I adore their vivid descriptions of New York City, my birthplace and hometown, as a Christmas destination, the way they express their love for their families, and share stories about them on the podcast, and the way they embrace and appreciate their podcast family. I was in... Oh, God.
You can do it.
I was indeed in tears, along with Danny, when I listened to the Top 5 Christmas Destinations episode in which Eric and Danny tenderly described their number 1 picks. If you haven't listened, I won't give it away. I hold this podcast very dear to my heart year-round, and I consider Danny and Eric together on the Christmas Countdown podcast to be Christmas spirit personified. They have helped me recapture the joy and nostalgia I have for the holiday season, which has been tarnished but not lost as the years have passed. I wish to thank Eric and Danny both so much for creating such an amazing podcast and for the effort and love they put into making each and every episode entertaining and special. Wishing everyone, especially Danny and Eric and your families, many, many wonderful holiday seasons to come. Fondly, Madly Mary, Missy in Manhattan.
Wow. Well done. Wow. That says it all, right? I mean, I like that they appreciated the fun that we have. I like that they appreciated the work that we put in to try to make it fun and to cover a lot of topics and to be honest and authentic with you, the listeners, about our lives and about Christmas and about our families. And you know, it sounds like we're bringing some real joy to them. And so, again, mission accomplished, Danny. We say this every single time that we do the audience reviews, but this started out as just a little thing, and now we're really seeing how many people around the globe are being affected by, you know, the sort of joy and positivity that we're trying to put out in the world, you know?
Dude, yeah, I was doing I did an author event over the weekend, and the person who was working the register, you know, somehow like the Christmas podcast came up, and I was talking to somebody else in the store about it, and after they left, she said, you know, I just want to say thank you for you being so appreciative of the fans of your show. She goes, I'm really into like a couple really big YouTube channels. Like I'm very obsessed with them, and like they've become a part of my life. And she goes, to know that creators appreciate us as much as we appreciate what they're doing. She goes, it just fills my heart, you know, to know that you appreciate us. And I said, of course we appreciate you. I said, like, you're not a fan of my show, but I can guarantee like those like haunted house hunter people that you follow on YouTube, right, like you commenting on their posts and letting them know like what their content means to you, it moves them. Yeah, I guarantee you. And I think it's important that we express that back, because it is not lost on us that in a time where like, you know, time is precious, and that you guys give us 60, 90 minutes of your time, or with 2 episodes, my gosh, 3 hours of your time every week that you commit to us and to this show, like that's a precious gift. And it's one that we don't take for granted. So thank you so much to everybody. And obviously specifically want to give a huge shout out to Madly Mary Missy in Manhattan. That was just a brilliant review.
I love that. And they got the nice alliteration on their name, which is good.
Crushed it.
Well done. Well done. All right, I got another one here before we finish up with our bad review. This is 5 golden stars. We love that. And I am able to see the full title of this review, which is It's the Most Wonderful Podcast of the Year, which I guess I should probably sing. It's the most wonderful podcast of the year. Should I... Here's what I'm going to do. Watch this, Danny. It just came to me.
I'm so ready.
I'm going to sing the whole review, continuing the tune from that I just was singing. Here we go. It's the most wonderful podcast of the year. I've had such a blast listening to this show during this holiday season. Thanks to Eric and Danny, I have lots of great new Christmas music too. Okay, this is bad. This is dying. Dying on the vine. No,
I am loving
And
this.
I think I changed songs about twice halfway through that. It was vaguely a Christmas tune, but it was not. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm just going to read. Here we go. They say, this is from Julie Bell, and she says, I've had such a blast listening to this show during the holiday season. Thanks to Eric and Danny, I have lots of great new Christmas music to listen to and movies to watch. I've laughed as they go on and on about things they love. What's not to like about that? Thanks, guys. Julie Bell from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Thank you very much, Julie. I'm sorry that I butchered your review with my singing, my attempt at trying to turn your review into a song. But thank you very much, Julie, and we're glad that you're having a good time listening to us because that's what we're trying to do. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Put the positivity in the world that you want to see come back to you, right?
100%. I mean, that's what we talked about with Santa J. Claus last week, and he just I was listening back to that episode and, when he was talking about how the world needs more love and positivity, I was just like, yes. And that's what we're here to do. And I think one of the ways you could show love in life is honesty. And so we're going to be honest with you all right now and share the first ever not favorable review. We've had people who have rated us 1 star before, but they haven't left reviews.
Sure.
But this person...
They didn't take the time to articulate it.
Just why they hated us so much. This comes to us from someone named Slade 1973. And the title of this review is They Mean Well... ... That's so good. And I will say, even though this is not a favorable review, they did still give us 3 stars. So
that's good.
Not
that's
all
fair.
Hope is lost on
that's
Slade
true.
1973. So
I love that you keep saying their screen name, and I hope that all of our fans go and find them and be like, "Come on, you got to give it another chance."
Just listen a little bit longer. So Slade 1973 says, they mean well, but I tapped out when I was 12 minutes into the episode and they hadn't even started talking about the topic yet. And that's it.
Well, that's true. That is not false. That is even today,
not an incorrect statement. Yeah,
we're I don't know, half an hour into our episode, we haven't even announced what our topic is. So why don't we just say it right now? It is today we're doing top 5 smells of Christmas. So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
It'll be about an hour into the episode is when we'll get to our finally get to our list because that's what we do here.
That's how we roll, baby. But yeah, Slade 1973. If you didn't get it the first 6 times I said it, that was their review, and they left us 3 golden stars, which doesn't sound nearly as nice as 5 golden stars.
Yeah,
but anyway, we do appreciate your honesty, Slade 1973. And you know what? You're not wrong. We like to go on and on and on, and that's just part of the mystique of the show. Maybe if they'd hung around to like the 20-minute mark, we might have won them over, but it's okay. We're not
that's
for
right.
everybody.
Can't win them all.
We totally
Can't
get
win them
it.
all.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can't win them all. But
I love that.
But thank you for that review, and thank you everybody else for the review. If you're listening to our show and you hate us or love us, please, if you're listening on Apple, leave us a review and rate us whatever you feel is fair. 5 golden stars would be the preference, but let us know what you think of the show, and you too could have your review read by Eric and or myself. And if you're not following us on social media already, please do so. We are at Christmas Countdown Show on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter.
At XmasPod on Twitter, and you can go to our website, ChristmasCountdownShow.com, where you can message us, or you can find our merch store where we're selling lots of fun Christmassy merch. And also you can email us at kringle@ChristmasCountdownShow.com. So make sure you do that. Now, Danny, do you mind if, a segment that we haven't done in quite a while, but I've saved up a few little tasty nuggets of Eric's memes and things. You mind if we jump back in with a new installment of Eric's memes and things?
Only if we get to listen to the theme song.
Okay.
Memes and things, memes and things. It's time for Eric's memes and things.
Yes. So good. Oh, that's so good. Well, it's always makes me grin and smile. All right, here we go. So these are just a few things that I've collected over the internet over the last few weeks or so. Number one is going to be, I love a Christmas village, right? I love a good Christmas village. Last year we got for my wife the Christmas Story house. And it even has a little leg lamp in the window.
Oh,
and
wow.
So we added that to our village last year. But now this year, Department 56, which is one of the big companies that makes the sort of Christmas village houses, has a Griswold family house from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and it all lights up. And you can even get your own little Clark in the front who's holding the plugs together. It's really great.
Oh my
so
gosh.
definitely check that out. Another fun thing that
epic.
I found, we may have chatted about this before, but if we didn't, here we are doing it again or for the first time. There is, as we've talked about before, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Everybody has their opinions. Some say yes, some say no. But there is now a company called Arise-Beer.com that is selling an advent calendar which shows Hans Gruber falling off of Nakatomi Plaza for 25 straight days, and you can sort of count down to the season with Hans Gruber as he slowly crashes to his death from the movie Die Hard. So that's a fun thing.
Oh my gosh.
Another fun gift idea, if you're looking for, this would be a great gift from a grandparent. The company is called fantasypillow.com, and what you can do is you can send them a picture of your child, or I suppose an adult, but the ad here shows children, and then they will put the picture of your child into an elf costume and then make it a pillow, like a little plush pillow.
Oh my gosh.
That they could sort of have on their bed. So you could either do one of your grandkids and they'd love to see themselves, or you could do one of yourself if you wanted to be like, hey, you can always have Grandpa can hang out with you whenever you want. You bring me along as a pillow. So fantasypillow.com. Yep, definitely check that out. Okay, wait, hang on. I got some more here.
Are these ads you're being fed on Facebook?
Some, yeah, a lot are.
Yeah,
they know that I love Christmas.
I wonder if people out in the world are getting fed our ads for our merchandise and doing the same thing and sharing this with their friends.
Maybe, hopefully.
And, I hope so. I mean, you did talk about Die Hard, being a Christmas movie or not, and we actually have a T-shirt where you can proudly state whether or not you believe that Die Hard is a Christmas movie or is not a Christmas movie. And go to our website and you can wear that proudly and tell everyone how you really feel.
Okay, this next one is from a very fun Instagram account that I recently started following, which is History Tees. And history is spelled HISTOREETEES. History Tees. And they have, I'm a big history nut, so I love funny sort of inside jokes about history. They have things like Abe Lincoln leaving a review of the play at Ford's Theater being like, a 1-star review being like was not great, things like that, just kind of fun sort of in the know history jokes. And they posted one the other day as an idea for a t-shirt that says, "Christmas is canceled. Yes, really." And it has Christmas canceled out. And it was from the Long Parliament in 1647 AD, which we talked about before. When the Puritans came over to America, there was a brief time where Christmas truly was canceled. And so sort of a fun kind of, old-timey, you have to be aware of it. But that's kind of fun. Okay.
I love that.
This is a really fun thing that I just saw the other day, and I'm definitely going to do this with my family, especially if you have like a nice big table or an island in your kitchen. What you do is you basically tape some like tubes or like a coffee tin or a little Kleenex box or something like that, and you tape them to the end of the table. I'm showing the guys here. And then what you can do is take each person in your family gets 3 ornaments, round ornaments, but you got to use ornaments because they're not perfectly round because they have the part that like comes up that you hang on the tree. And then each person gets to roll 3 ornaments down the table or the island and try to make the ornaments land in one of the buckets at the end of the table. And the smallest one you can make, $20, and the bigger ones you can make $1. It's just kind of a fun Christmassy game. But I saw that the other day and I was like, oh, I definitely have to do that. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, I love that. I've seen that on TikTok a bunch. Well, sometimes they'll do like ping pong balls or whatever.
Yeah.
One's got like $100 on it. I'm like, come on! I get so invested in these things when I watch these people doing it. Like, I don't stand to make any money off of this, but
it has no bearing on my life.
I would love for them to win $100.
Yes,
and who's
100%.
paying them the money? That's the one part of those videos I've never established is where's that money coming from?
It's seemingly coming from the parents. You
would imagine
dad's wallet. Okay, totally. This is another good one. This one, and this is true. This is something that I frankly have a lot of guilt about in life. Let me just read you the meme, and then we can talk about it. It's from The Dad, which is an account that Danny and I both love. They post a lot of great, funny stuff. The picture is of Homelander from The Boys, if you ever watched The Boys. And there's sort of a famous meme where he's like, ooh, like really trying to like, how am I going to handle this? And what it says above it says, trying to think of Christmas gifts people can get me since I'm an adult who just buys what he wants throughout the year. and that is so true. I wish that was not the case. I wish I was more frugal, and I wish I didn't sort of just see something and be like, oh, I'd like to purchase that and then just do it. But I do, and it is sometimes hard at Christmas that I'm like, well, there's nothing I want because everything I wanted I bought for myself,
Right.
And I wish that wasn't the case. Something that I said to Lisa this year, and I really did mean it. I don't think she's going to do it, but I really did mean it. I said, maybe this year, there is not anything that I'm like, oh, I really want that new iPad or new headphones or whatever. I'm like, what you can do is get me gifts that are for the kids and just address them to me. And it could be like a new Hot Wheels racetrack. I'll open it and go, oh, this is so cool. Miles, you want to play with it? And I'll just say that it's mine, but then I'll just give it to them. And I'm like, then we can just give the kids more gifts. And, I can still open something and, everybody can be like, look, Daddy, what we got you. But I really don't need anything. And it's partially because I'm a selfish guy and I get stuff for myself all through the year. And I wish that wasn't the case.
It's so funny. You bring that up. I was standing behind a couple in my daughter's dance class the other day. Like we're all watching the kids dance, and I think they're like in-laws, and they're like, "So, what do you want for Christmas this year?" And they're like, "I don't know." And the one woman was like, "Yeah, you're just so hard to shop for because." And she goes, "Yeah, it's because I just buy everything I want all year long, and then there's nothing to give me at the end of the year." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Am I that type of person as well? I was like, you're having to ask myself that question. But I will say there's one thing that it's not something I need, but it's something I had that I lost that
your dignity?
Wow. Yeah. I lost it on about October 17th of 2022. When the first episode of season 2 of Christmas Countdown podcast launched, I lost my dignity. No, I lost my AirPods. Did I tell you this?
Oh, no.
Yeah. And Speaking of, this is a full circle moment. Did I ever tell you how I got my AirPods?
No, please do.
I got them from Dave & Buster's.
Oh, like with tickets?
I saved up 50,000 tickets, Eric.
This is just like the Chuck E. Cheese stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. When it comes to investing, if tickets are involved, I'm really good at investing. But yeah, I just it got to the point where I had so many, I was like, I might as well just keep saving them at this point in time. And then one day I went to the case and I was like, oh, they got AirPods. Then it gave me something to fight for,
Sure. Work towards.
Because I didn't. And then part of me was like, yeah, but Danny, you could probably go buy these for $100, and that would be a lot less than all the money you would spend coming back to Dave & Buster's. But then I was like, yeah, but I don't get to play any games if I just go to the store and buy them. Yeah. So eventually, right before the pandemic, actually, I exchanged 50,000 tickets and I got them. And then a few months ago, I lost them.
Can I tell you what you should get?
Yeah.
Not only should you get new AirPods, but
yes.
Something that I got is a little silicone case that goes around my AirPods that has room for an Apple AirTag. So now the tag is attached to the AirPods, because once those AirPods die, it's like you can't use your Find My Mac app to find them.
Yes.
Because I think this happened last Christmas, is Miles took my AirPods and hid them somewhere in the house and could not remember where. And they were gone for about 4 months until randomly somebody in my family found them under a dresser. So then I got that little thing, the case with the AirTag, which is kind of nice.
See, that's smart. I keep asking myself, should I ask for this for Christmas, or do I really believe I'm going to find them one day? I keep, I'm holding out hope that I'm going to pull out that slipper from under the bed. I'm like, there they are. But
well, you know what? If you I would say ask for new ones, and then if you find them, then you can give them to Lynn and say, hey, here's some AirPods.
Well, insult to injury, she has her AirPods and she hasn't lost hers yet. So every night I watch her go click with her little case closed, and I'm like, all right.
Must be nice.
Okay. Must be nice to have some AirPods. Anyway, I think that's the one thing I'm asking for that I don't currently have in my possession this year.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. All right, I have a couple more memes and things. This one was also posted by the dad, and it says, me when I've completely run out of ideas for my wife's Christmas present, and it has a picture of Nicolas Cage saying, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. which I just love the idea of when you don't know what to get your wife. All right, just a couple more. This one, I love new era caps, like baseball hats, right?
Agreed.
And they just posted, they have a holiday essentials collection that are very cool. They have a snow globe one, a snowflake one, and then a berries and holly kind of one. There's just something about New Era that they just, again, not a paid ad, they just make the best hats. They fit the best. They're just the best.
I agree.
Okay, two more. This one was a TikTok from, let's see if I can read. I can't read who it was from. Oh, okay, yeah. It's Witchy Ginger, at Witchy Ginger. They had some snow. They live somewhere where it's snowed quite a bit. And they were worried that the snow was going to destroy one of their inflatables in the backyard. So they turned it on even though it was covered in snow, and it said, had to inflate my penguin while it was snowing. Not disappointed. And they put some epic music. And basically the penguin is slowly emerging from the snow as the fan kind of fills it up. And they have this really epic music playing as this penguin just sort of emerges from the snow. It's pretty great.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible. I got to find out where they're getting their inflatables, because when it rains here, mine don't stand up.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if the feet get full of water, and then Mickey's hands get waterlogged. And his hands are super heavy, so it just he just falls.
Pulls them all down,
straight over, yeah. Anyway.
This last one is especially for Danny. You're gonna like this, Danny.
Okay.
This is somebody's elf, elf on the shelf. A lot of people have an elf that comes to their home and sort of watches the kids to make sure they're doing good stuff. And this elf was particularly, I think, really right on the money of what they were doing when the kids found them. And so, Danny, I'll show it to you and then I'll describe it. But here we go.
Oh my gosh!
It's an elf who has seemingly dropped a little chocolate turd on a Aaron Rodgers Packers
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, what's funny about the timing of all of this is that a certain two teams played each other recently.
They did.
And a certain team won.
This is true.
And that
Can I tell you, though?
Team was my team.
It was the Packers. This is true. But I was conflicted at this particular Bears-Packers game because the Packers are terrible and the Bears are terrible. And we're both terrible this year. You guys might find a way to squeak into the playoffs, but even if you do, you're not going to go far. You're a bad team. It's okay. We're a bad team as well. I can say it. It's all good company. But that was my memes and things.
Eric, I feel very confident right now saying that this is probably our longest opening segment.
Ooh. How deep are we right now? I can't see a clock.
I keep looking down because I'm like, whoa. I just keep watching it get higher and higher because that's how time works. We're at 48 minutes right now.
Ooh, spicy.
Wow. I wonder how many people are still listening. If you are still listening at this 48-minute mark, thank you. Shoot us a DM. Let us know whether or not we went a little too long, or if we're right in the pocket. We're right where you want us to be, and hope that we are. But before we get to the countdown, and thank you for those memes. I loved all those memes and all those things. No, I want to talk a little bit about tea. Are you a tea guy?
I actually am a tea guy. I love tea. I love warm tea. I like a nice glass of tea before bed. I like a glass of lemon tea before I do perform in a show or if I have to sing. I love tea. Big fan. Big fan.
I love spilling the tea. And right now, I'm going to spill the tea on Hallmark Channel's Countdown to Christmas tea collection. Recently you and I tried some cocoa bombs. Which I don't know why every time I say it cocoa bombs. I don't know why I do that.
I noticed that. It's sort of like people that say Taco Bell.
Yeah,
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I don't know why cocoa bombs. I don't know. It's like Christopher Walken is like channeling me.
Cocoa bombs. Wow.
I've been possessed by Walken babies.
Marshmallows.
So delicious. So anyway, when Hallmark Channel sent us the cocoa bombs, they also sent us some teas as well. They have, I think we chatted about it a little bit, but we didn't get to try it. And so I'm not historically like the biggest tea guy, but they did send us the Republic of Tea cardamom cinnamon as well as gingerbread cookie. And I was like, you know what? Last season, I forced you to try coffee, so I felt it was only fair that I try some tea this season. So
which one are you going to do? Gingerbread?
See, I'm torn because I'm usually a cinnamon person. Cinnamon's one of my I love cinnamon checks. I love cinnamon toast crunch. Love it all. But something about the idea of a gingerbread cookie tea.
That sounds good to me.
I don't know, because I'm looking at the back and it's rooibos tea with cinnamon, stevia, and natural vanilla and ginger flavor on the gingerbread one, and then for the cardamom, it's cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, chicory. I do like chicory. Oh, have you ever been to New Orleans? No, you haven't. I asked you this before.
I have been to New Orleans.
Oh, you have been. Okay, did you go to that place that has like the famous beignets?
Café du Monde.
Yeah, Café du Monde. They put chicory in their coffee.
I don't know what chicory is. You're saying a word, and I'm nodding like I know what I have no idea.
You're like, oh yes, chicory.
Chicory, yes, of course, chicory. I love chicory with everything I eat.
It turns out that I think it's a stick, sort of like spice, like cinnamon is.
Sure.
So I think because I remember how good chicory was, I'm going to change my mind mid-segment here, and I'm going to go with cardamom cinnamon. So I've got my mug here. I'm going to drop it in. Just let it steep here.
Danny, you know what you could do? You could get crazy Those to me sound like some pretty complimentary flavors. I think you could go
so?
double bag it, put them both in, see what happens. Let's get crazy, you know?
See, you're speaking to my heart now, because I am notorious for whenever I have cereal, I always got to mix two together.
Yeah,
like it's
why
never
not?
just peanut butter this or cinnamon that. Like, let's get the peanut butter and the cinnamon in there together.
Yes.
And very often, when I do tea, I will do like a mint with like a honey
Lemon or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take your advice, Eric. I'm gonna mix it up. I got a little gingerbread cookie going with some cardamom cinnamon, and while that's steeping, I do want to point out, I don't know if I've ever seen this before in tea bags, but look how cute their little tea bags are. Do you see this?
That is an adorable little tea bag.
They look like Pogs.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Pogs?
It was a little bit behind me. That's like the
okay.
like 2-year age difference that we have. It was like just past me.
I was super into
Just
Pogs.
after me, I guess. Yeah.
Do you know what Pog stands for?
Nope.
Passion Orange Guava.
Really?
Yeah, so there is a company
Wait, Chris
in
is
Hawaii.
shaking his head. Chris is shaking his head. No.
Do you not believe me, Chris?
Those little cardboard circles?
Yeah, so they're inside the caps of the juice containers. And so people would peel those little pieces out, and then they created this game called Pogs.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
all right.
Little did you know that when you came to our podcast that it was going to be a Pogcast.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
That's a missed opportunity. If nobody's doing a podcast all about Pogs called Pogcast, then
For real. Bring it back.
that's a missed opportunity. Anyway, so my little discs, my little pouches that look like Pogs have been steeping. So I'm going to give a little sip to a combination of gingerbread cookie mixed with cardamom cinnamon. Let's see what happens here. All right, here we go. Okay. I got
Danny,
a little cinnamon up front.
Was it tea-licious?
Oh, it was so delicious. I can't think of a pun that fits better than what you just dropped on us there. But it's like it's got a little spice up front with the cinnamon. But as that starts to like dissipate, I got the sweetness of the gingerbread on the back end. So I think your suggestion to combine them, like I think both flavors are great in and of themselves. But if you're really looking to spice things up this holiday season, I would encourage you to take Eric's advice. Well, first of all, you got to go to hallmarkchannel.com, check out their tea selection, or just Google Hallmark Channel teas, get yourself the gingerbread cookie, get yourself the cardamom cinnamon, and try them individually because they're great on their own, but mix them together because let me tell you, friends, this, oh man, it is. It's a little spicy up front, a little sweet on the back end.
Love that.
I feel like, and you know what this would go well with?
What's that?
Can you guess?
Cocoa Bomb?
I was going to say a Hallmark Channel Christmas movie.
You're right. Try it again. Ask me again.
Hey, Eric, you know what this tea would go so good with?
Maybe a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Exactly. And specifically, as I'm drinking this tea, it's making me think about the fact that there's a movie that's premiering this weekend on Hallmark Channel that feels like the perfect movie to drink tea while watching.
I see where you're going with this. Yes.
And that's 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Yes. It's going to be on the 17th.
Yep.
And I love the premise of this movie. This one, I'm going to pull up the stars because I want to give the actors the credit that they're due.
Yes.
It stars Tori DeVito and Zane Holtz, and it is one of the characters comes to this town, and they do an annual sort of courtroom drama where they debate the origins of the poem of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in the town. And so this one of the characters comes to the town and says, "I'm going to get involved in this." But they do this cool thing. Remind me what it's called, Danny. The
Victorian stroll.
The Victorian
So
stroll, yeah.
Yes, people dress in like very like Victorian garb, with like the big top hats. It's like the type of garb, when you see like some old traditional like carolers, hanging out at a theme park or like at the mall or whatever it might be.
Bonnets and top hats, yeah.
Oh yeah, and like the little
Hoop
thing you
skirts,
put your hands in, whatever that's called, a hand warmer.
A
I
muff.
would guess.
A muff. It's called a muff.
Oh well, there you go. I learned something new today. But yeah, I know there's the Victorian stroll is involved. So like when I saw those images, I thought, oh, the Victorian vibe feels very like tea adjacent. So I would really, really highly suggest that you get thee to hallmarkchannel.com and order yourself some teas in time for 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, which is premiering this weekend as part of, Hallmark Channel's Countdown to Christmas, which has been going on all season long. And I feel like we've been so fortunate to have all these incredible new holiday movies that we've been able to watch over the last, almost 2 months now, Eric. This is wild.
3 a weekend. It's pretty great. They're filling the calendar with stuff to watch. It's great. We love it.
It's the best. And anyway, I'm going to take one more sip of my tea here just because I love it.
One more sip, and then I suppose we should get to our countdown, considering it's been a minute that we've
we've been recording for 2 weeks at this point in time.
In case, what is it, Slade 17 or something like that? The guy who bailed on us because we didn't get to our countdown quick enough. Just in case he's come back, maybe let's get to our countdown here. So, Chris, why don't you give us our countdown music? Here we go. It's countdown time. I love it. Okay, here we go, folks. This is the top 5 smells of Christmas, which is great because, we've talked about this a little bit before, but the sense of smell is one of the most sort of transportative. I don't know if that's the word. Transportative? You think so?
Transportative?
You get what I'm saying. It can bring you places in time, right? If you can, I know that there are certain smells that I can just like get a single whiff of and be like, whoa, I feel like I'm 12 again. There's just certain, whether it's like the way that like a grandparent's house smells, or sometimes you can smell like the perfume of a previous girlfriend or something like that. And you're like, whoa. That was smells like a high school girlfriend, that kind of stuff. But we're talking about Christmas smells, not Christmas spells. That'll be a different podcast on our Magic Countdown podcast. But these are the top 5 Christmas smells. And I'm going to start us off here.
I totally went a different place with that. I thought you were going to say all the different ways you could spell the word Christmas.
Also good. That's another podcast that we'll do. You got your Xmas, you got your Christmas.
Oh my God!
Beyond those Navidad. We Feliz Navidad. That's true. We got a lot of options. All right, here we go. Top 5 Christmas smells. For me, Eric Peterson, number 5. I'm gonna go with a candle, but a particular candle. I got a couple candles on my list here because I'm a big candle guy. I love candles.
Okay,
and that's gonna go a balsam fir candle, or a forest green, or a spruce, or a pine. But usually balsam fir is going to be your most Christmas tree smelling candle. We have a real tree this year. It's not terribly fragrant, which I'm okay with because our tree this year is much stronger and it's like its branches are stronger, but it's not very fragrant. So we have been lighting multiple balsam fir candles around the house, so then it smells like a Christmas tree. So I could have said a Christmas tree, but I'm actually saying specifically a balsam fir candle. I love that smell, and there's something about it coming from a candle that just almost feels a little warmer or something.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
So my number 5 is going to be a balsam fir candle. What about you, Danny?
Lovely. Well, it's funny to set the mood here because, spoiler alert, we didn't tell people this, but you and I are not in the same space today. This is the first time all season that we have not been in the same space. So I wanted to, in honor of Eric, Eric loves this thing. We got these things called sensicles, which they come in 2 different varieties. You can hang them on your tree, and they're like these little green sticks that sort of blend in, and they smell like a Christmas tree. But they also have this like little jar thing that's metal, and it has these little things that look like green onions or like chives inside. And every time Eric and I record, he has it on his side of the studio, and he always pulls it out and he like stuffs his nose down and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's good,
man."
So in honor of Eric, I've got my little sensicle next to me today, and it just feels very, very, very fitting that we'd be doing it today. Yeah. So I actually, spoiler alert, I have no candles on my list. The first one I'm going to go with, it wasn't originally like when I map out my lists, I'll just start like just listing things, right? And sometimes they're in the order I want them to be in. Sometimes I have to like reshuffle. This one was like the last one that came to me. And when the idea of it came to me, just as you were saying, like it's transportative or whatever word we were going to use on this episode for smells, when I thought of the smell of a new toy, it like immediately I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm a kid again. Like I could, it was like it was living in my nose. Yeah. Like I wasn't smelling a new toy when I thought new toy smell, but immediately like I could remember as a child, like, you know, back in the day, I don't know if they still make all toys this way, but you'd have like the cardboard, you know, piece on the back with the artwork and you'd like rip it off, you know, and then you'd have that new toy. And there was something about
that kind of plasticky smell.
Yes.
New plastic. Yeah.
It smelled like opportunity. It smelled like, you know, a chance for you, a hope for like you and your imagination to sort of go wild with this toy and all the adventures that you guys were going to have together and the stories that you would create. And I'll go a step further because it's sort of toy adjacent, is like the smell of like a new video game cartridge. Like when I would get like a new Nintendo cartridge or like a new Sega cartridge when I was a kid, man, there was just something about that fresh plastic that like, it is like I can see the moments in my mind of when I opened those things and the joy that I felt. And so now it's got me really excited for, you know, Emerson and some of the toys that she'll be opening up this Christmas morning. I'm just going to stuff. I'll be like, before you play with this, just give me it's going to look really weird, but just give me that toy. I'm just going to get a quick hit of that.
Yeah, man.
So I can be transported back to my childhood. But yeah, there's nothing like that new toy smell.
Do you know, I actually thought of that. It didn't make it on my list, but I did think of that. And there's one particular toy that I always felt was very fragrant, and that was the He-Man toys. Some of them there was a character called like Skunkor, I think, that actually did smell like skunk. It was
really?
Great toy. Great toy.
Skunkor. There was a guy named Skunkor?
I think so. Yeah. He definitely looked like a skunk.
I remember Skeletor. Yeah. And He-Man and She-Ra.
Yeah.
His name was Stinkor.
Stinkor, yeah.
There was another one that smelled like grass.
Mossman. Yeah, I had him too. That was good stuff. Good
this
stuff.
Feels like the original iteration of like the bosses that what's that oh gosh, what is that game?
Monopoly.
With the yes, very similar to that.
Tic-tac-toe.
Close.
Connect Four.
The guy who's got like the arm that like he can shoot the
Inspector
like,
Gadget
balls out of.
Inspector Gadget.
No.
Captain Planet.
And he fights like Metal Man and like
Mega Man.
Mega Man. Yes.
That's what it was.
We got there. I love it.
There. Woo.
Oh, that's great. Okay. We're to my number 4. My number 4 is cinnamon. I love the smell of cinnamon. I would say I like the smell of cinnamon more than the taste of cinnamon. Not that I dislike the taste, but I like the smell more. And the best way, I think, to smell cinnamon is from a cinnamon broom. Have you ever had a cinnamon broom in your house? Go to like Trader Joe's or Ralph's or whatever your local grocery store is. They usually will have them, especially at this time of the year. It's literally like a broom. You don't use it to sweep, but it's just in the shape of a broom, and it's made all of cinnamon. So it's big. It's like, 2 feet long.
What?
And then you can put it in your house, and it's very, very fragrant. Much better than, like just some cinnamon sticks. Get a cinnamon broom, and you put that right by the front door, so then when you walk in the house, you're like, oh yeah, it's Christmas time, baby. So yeah, my number 4 is going to be cinnamon, specifically a cinnamon broom.
Are they like the size of a full-size broom?
No, they're about 2 feet long.
Okay.
Yeah, probably about 2 feet long. About a foot of like a little handle and then a foot of bristles.
How have I never seen this in my life?
Yeah.
This is wild to me. Maybe all the people I've been going to their houses, they have that tradition of hiding their brooms at the holidays, and that's why I haven't seen them at their house.
Yes, lots of Swedish friends.
All my Swedish friends. They're all fish, by the way. Thank you. Okay, and chefs. They're all fish and chefs, actually.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, all right. Moving on to number 4. This one, again, is a very, like, it emotes this response in me. And it's a very funny item. You're probably going to laugh at me when I tell you, and that's fine because I'm living my truth. And and that is Scotch tape.
I didn't think it had a smell.
Oh, Scotch tape definitely has a smell to it. The next time you are wrapping your gifts, give a little sniff of the Scotch tape. See, the thing is, and I will say I think it's more so like the OG Scotch tape that's got like the green and black sort of like, checkerboard pattern on it, rather than like the new age like wrapping paper tape. I'm thinking of that tape that's got a little frost to it.
Sure, yeah.
And I just think of what it makes me think of is like huddled in my room as a kid, and then or my living room as I got older, or nowadays like out in my garage when I build my wrapping station, and I throw on my music and I crack open some fresh Scotch tape and I just start ripping off pieces of it, and I'm wrapping gifts and wrapping paper for the people I love most. Like it immediately takes me to looking at all these gifts that I've, gathered for the people that I love the most. And there's just Scotch tape is always a part of it.
I love that.
It's always there. And it immediately makes me see that scene of a big pile of gifts that I'm looking forward to wrapping for those I love most.
I love that. That's good. I am definitely going to give my Scotch tape a good whiff next time I'm using it. Which I'm sure
everybody out there, let's give a collective, whiff of our Scotch tape right now. Yeah. Let's just all go grab it from the junk drawer right now. You know where it's at. Grab it, stick it up to your nose.
It's supposed to be in the junk drawer, but it never is.
Did I tell you that my wife organized the junk drawer recently?
What? Blasphemy.
Yeah, I know. And I opened it and I was like, I don't know where anything's at. I literally know where nothing's at. And she was like, it's all right there for you to see it. I said, you don't understand. This is not how it's supposed to look. My brain works better when it's all mixed together. And somehow my brain's like, I got to dig underneath the weird, screwdriver head over there and the pile of batteries in the back corner.
And the birthday card from like a grandparent, you're like, I shouldn't throw that away. I'll just put it in the drawer there. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Never organize your junk drawer.
Don't do it. Don't do it, people.
No.
All right, so we're to my number 3 here. Okay, I may have talked about this particular thing on the podcast before. If I have not, get ready, folks, because I could talk about this for an hour. And that is, it's a candle. It is, I think, the greatest candle ever created. Ever created. Again, this is not an ad, but if you go get yourself to Bath & Body Works and you get yourself a Leaves candle. Have I talked about this?
Yes, many times.
Okay, yes, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Leaves candle. I'm going to talk about it again. It is the greatest thing. You can get it in the fall as soon as it starts to become October. So it is a little bit of a fall scent, but for me, it is just the warmest, most inviting, most cozy, most homey, most just like filled with like a blanket around me, even without having a blanket around me feeling, is the Leaves candle from Bath & Body Works. I love that smell. I associate it definitely with the start of the season, in October, in our minds, but then we burn them straight through all the way to the new year, especially when it's cold out. So yeah, my number 3 here is going to be the famous Leaves candle from Bath & Body Works. Number 3.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how I have still not smelled that candle.
Oh, it's so good.
You got to bring it. Hey, next time we're in studio later this week,
you gotta, yes, I'll bring one.
I
will.
And let's light that candle up, baby. All right. So number 3 for me, I'm going to go. I just actually had this experience the other day. I went to the mall, and for the last couple of years, malls, we don't really go to the mall in general anymore, but my family, we all met up at the mall to get our Hallmark Channel ornaments, or just our Hallmark ornaments this year. And I was just immediately transported as I walked in the door of Macy's and was hit by that smell of the perfumes and the colognes and the leather from the bags and all the things. It's just like, there is this smell that I couldn't put my finger on as to like what exactly it is. It's just like, it's an amalgamation. It's a cornucopia of like all the goodies that exist in that store. There's something about a department store smell at the Christmas time where like
mall smell.
It it's mall smell. There's nothing like it. When I walked into it the other day, I immediately just like, I don't know, it made me happy. It just felt so familiar and something that I hadn't done in a while, and it just felt really, really good, and immediately like reminded me of so many Christmas pasts of, going to the mall and, fighting through the crowds to get a good parking spot and to get to that store that you got to get to. And it was a fun little flashback for me. So I'm going to go number 3, the smell of the mall.
I love that because I love malls. I think I've told you this maybe off the air, but a mall, other than being like with my family, is my happiest place on earth, is being in a mall. I love malls. I love them year round, but especially at Christmas, there is something just great about being there with your whole family, especially when we were kids. I remember being like kind of dragged along, but it was kind of an opportunity to also be like, oh, I kind of really want that for Christmas. And you could sort of like see stuff and tell your parents about it. And then I'd love to sort of sometimes see my like mom or dad be like, I'd be like, oh, I really want that jacket or something. And then they'd be like, okay. Hey, Tom, can you just take them to the food court? And you knew that your parents were going to buy it, like right when you said it, but they didn't want you to see them buying it. I love that. That's a great,
oh my gosh,
great memory, great smell, mall smell. Okay, my number 2. Go ahead.
Do we know where the word mall comes from? Like, is that short for something?
I think it's a juice.
Passion Orange Mall. Palm didn't have the same ring to it as Pog. So Emilio has pulled something up here. It says the word mall comes from a 16th century Italian alley game that resembled croquet. It was called Palamaglio or Pall Mall in English. The alley on which the game was played came to be known as a mall. Huh.
Yeah, I feel like that's a mall like in Washington, D.C., where they call that the mall that's like in between. Yeah. So I'm saying like a shopping mall. Is there a different origin for that word?
This whole art, it's on Merriam-Webster.com, and it looks like they say that the word mall, now why they chose the word mall for something that had nothing to do with an alley game, I don't know. Yeah. Did people used to play games in the mall?
I don't know.
Mall Countdown is coming to you 2023. Just soon.
Okay, so we're to my number 2 here. This is a good one. I'm excited about this one. This one, it's sort of a twofer, but it's kind of all the same thing. And that's going to be the smell of snow / cold air. Now, that for me is a smell that I have not had in a few years because I've been in California or in Florida at Christmas time. But growing up in Chicago and many years living in New York, I love that feeling of stepping out of my door, getting out of my car, and like your nose hairs instantly freeze. There is just a biting cold that like hurts your cheeks. And your teeth kind of you can feel the like cold air like going through your teeth and into your bones. I love that smell of that cold. And also like the snow. There's something about like when you're a kid and playing in the snow and you kind of like fall face first into the snow pile and the snow, it's not a terribly pungent smell because it's essentially water, but there is a sort of feeling and a smell of coldness that I really, really love and obviously associate with Christmas time. So for me, it's going to be cold air / snow that I love. Number 2.
Do you think, I'm just curious because I've wondered this like before, because I know like I love going to the mountains here in Southern California, and one of my favorite parts of it is like getting up early in the morning when it's really cool outside because there's just like a smell in the air that's very different. I wonder if the smell is actually how snow interacts with like leaves and grass and detritus on the ground. Is it something about that mixture of the two that creates that very unique smell?
I don't know. Did you say detritus?
Yeah, I said detritus.
What the heck is detritus?
You've never heard the word detritus before?
No, but I love it, but I don't know what it is.
My dad, Michael, he used like that was just a part of my childhood. Like, oh, there's detritus everywhere. Like, I don't know. It was.
What is it?
can you pull up the definition of detritus, Emilio? Let's see if we can read it to you here. I don't even know if I know how to spell it. So detritus is waste or debris of any kind. It could be gravel, sand, silt, all that sort of stuff. Detritus.
I love that. Look at all the detritus around here. This is ridiculous.
I'm going to start saying that to my kids. Would you clean up this detritus?
Clean up this detritus.
Right now. Well, I'm glad I could introduce you to a new word because I feel like you are always bringing up words on our show that I've never heard before.
Transportative.
We haven't even looked at it. Emilio, is it transportative? Transportive, Emilio says.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
okay.
That makes
Cocoa
sense.
bombs. All right. So we're to number 2 now. So number 2 selection for me, this is really hard because there are 3 that are like vying for the top 2 spots. And you could argue, well, Danny, why didn't you put one of them at number 3? And this is what happens with these lists sometimes is you get a little ahead of yourself and you've already committed your spots and now you got to narrow it down.
Yes.
So at number 2, I'm going to go with people with fires in their fireplaces, like with actual like wood burning fires, or if they're having like a fire in like a fire pit in their backyard. My neighbors, God bless them, most nights they make too much noise, but I will say they are always making noise around a fire. And when I walk out at night to go take my dog out, that smell, it immediately hits my nose and I can hear the crackling of the wood happening on the other side of the wall. And when that smell hits my nose, like it's again, transportive. It transports me back to like childhood. Cause I grew up with like an actual log burning fireplace in my home. And I can remember we had like a wood pile in the backyard and my mom would like come in with the bucket full of wood and, would arrange it in the fire. And just, there was something, I don't know, just something about seeing that fire in your living room and the smell that came with it. Just, it felt so calming. And, I miss that, and those smells remind me of that time, which is really, really special. So I'm going to go with the smell of a fireplace with wood or a fire pit burning wood in someone's backyard.
Well, Danny, I'd say that your selection is correct. It was just in the wrong spot because my number 1 selection... My number 1 selection is an outdoor fire / leaves burning, which you may not have grown up smelling as much in California, but in the Midwest, it's a big thing because there's so many leaves that fall on the ground, and the East Coast as well, to burn your leaves, right? And so there's a smell of somebody burning like a big pile of leaves that is very similar to like sort of a fireplace or campfire smell, but there's something about the leaves that makes it really pungent. You can smell it from a couple blocks away. And that also, like, I just love that smell. It, like you were saying, it is warm, it's cozy, it feels like the weekend. And I feel like I want the holidays to always feel like a constant weekend, like no work, just hanging out with family. It's around like 3:30 in the afternoon and Dad's like, I'm going to go burn the leaves. And then kind of like the light is getting darker and the lights are starting to come on the street of people's Christmas lights. And you just smell that like leaves burning. And then maybe because of that, you have a little campfire because even though it's cold out, you're able to put like a little fire pit like near the house and everybody gets bundled up and there's nothing better. I guess probably because I like the leaves candle, I also like the leaves actually burning leaves. So my number 1, as Danny was just talking about, is going to be a campfire or leaves burning at Christmas time is my favorite Christmas smell.
I've never burned leaves before. That to me, growing up in California, that sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like Smokey the Bear was telling me to do the exact opposite of that all through my childhood.
Light your leaves on
Only
fire.
You can prevent forest fires. But I heard they smell real nice when you burn them. All right. So number 1 for me, I'm between 2 here. I am between 2, and this one is so hard for me. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm just going to rip off the Band-Aid, and I am going to say the smell of the turkey cooking in the oven.
That's a good
and
one.
the way that it permeates the house.
Yeah.
There is something about that holiday meal smell that somehow just finds its way into every nook and cranny of your house. And it's the type of thing, even like I've noticed this recently, and I think part of it is because our HVAC unit, our furnace is like right by the kitchen. So like it just sucks in all the air and just blows it throughout the house. Yeah. But I've noticed, like I noticed this after Thanksgiving recently, that I put on a shirt and I was like, wait a second, this kind of smells like Thanksgiving dinner. So maybe it's just the way my house is laid out, but there's something about like that smell. It permeates the house and it just lingers for like a couple days after the fact. And there's something about that is just so special, because even after everyone's gone home and the dishes have been cleaned up, that smell is still there. And then next year, if you're so fortunate, it comes back again. And reminds you of all those memories that you shared in your home or your family's home or a relative's home, over the years. It's a very, and that's the cool thing about a turkey smell or the Christmas dinner in general is that you could smell it at anybody's house,
Yeah.
and it's very, very special. So I'm going to go number one. I guess I'll be a little bit more general and just say the Christmas dinner smell.
Just give us your other one. It's okay.
You want to know what the other one was?
Yeah,
okay.
Just tell us.
It was going to be a fresh tree. A fresh Christmas tree.
It is great. It is great.
But you saying that like yours isn't super fragrant, I immediately was like full of questions. Like,
Sure.
Are the trees becoming less fragrant? Is that a problem that we need to be like, I don't know, paying attention to?
It's like
is
that
it just
M. Night
your
Shyamalan
tree?
movie with Mark Wahlberg where the trees are trying to kill us.
Which one was that?
The Following
was that,
or something, or the Happening?
Is that the one where like the people live in that private community?
No, that's The Village, which is also a good one. But there's one where the trees are like decide that humans are the problem, and so they start like killing everyone. Chris, do you know which?
It's called The Happening.
The Happening. I was right. Okay,
Yeah.
The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what's happening right now.
Maybe
I
got a different.
Christmas trees don't smell good.
I'll tell you, the Christmas tree that I got this year was like, it was not a Douglas fir. It was like a Hampton fir or something like that.
What?
So it was a species or a genus that I was unfamiliar with. But what I love about it is that it has very strong branches. So, yeah. One of the smells that that neither of us said is like the smell of like gingerbread or cookies being cooked, which is another great Christmas smell. But yeah. Smells are great.
You know what, Eric? We do have a bonus episode coming up later this week, so maybe
we'll drop some of those nuggets there. Yeah,
the smelly nuggets later on this week.
Smelly nuggets there, because we want you to think about smells that are very transportative to Christmas season.
You got it in there. Somewhere it was in there.
Somewhere in there is a word.
Sure.
But
yes.
folks, that's going to be the end of this particular episode. We hope that you stuck with us through our endless tangential banter at the beginning and made it to these smells, this was a very fun list to do. I like that. But we're going to end it here, but we will be back for another episode that will drop on Thursday of this week. We're getting close, folks. We are so close to Christmas. Thank you for sticking with us. Ooh. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hopefully telling your friends about us. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. Like and subscribe. Leave us a review if you have not done so yet. And as we like to end every episode of the Christmas Countdown Show, we like to close by saying, Merry Christmas.
And Happy Holidays.
Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
See ya.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was fun.